Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the E Squared MMA show. And today we have a very special guest, the number 8 ranked heavyweight in Bellator, Davion Franklin.
Yeah,
Yes,
David,
sir.
thank you so much for being on here. Big fans of yours and taking time out of your day to come speak with us. We really appreciate it. So for our fans who don't know, Davion, most recently you won a split decision against Saeed Sorma. Prior to that, you destroyed Everett Cummings in 21 seconds at Bellator 264. You're currently 5-0 as a professional. You're 27 years young, and you quickly found your footing in the sport. So you've only been competing for a little over 2 years. So I guess Evan and I, amongst the fans, want to know a little more about you. So what kind of got you into the sport initially?
I just knew I'd be good at it. You know what I mean? A bunch of people always told me that that I should do MMA, and I never really gave it a shot until I felt like I had no other option in my life, and I did it, and it just worked out. It just worked like a charm, honestly.
So when you were younger, did you have any, other prior aspirations as to, what you want to do with your life, or did you always kind of have a niche and you liked, combat or contact sports?
Yeah, I always thought that maybe I'd be like a professional. I know I'd be a professional athlete, but I guess when you grow up thinking that you're gonna be like a professional athlete, thinking that you just got this nice future waiting for you, you kind of let it, and I did, but at least is what I thought, but I guess when you grow up thinking that oh, this is gonna be my future or whatever, you kind of let everything slip through the cracks and take it for granted, take the mentors for granted, take the people who's there for you for granted, take the opportunities for granted. And, and that's what led me to MMA. But I think I have the potential to be better at MMA than I was in any other sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And you started off great. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But so how'd you get your footing in the door, I guess, at Greg Jackson and Winklejohn's? What brought you to that gym in the first place?
Well, I knew that John Jones trained here, and I knew that I watched his fight with DC2, and I knew he was kind of labeled as a fuck up, and I feel like in my life I was a lot of people thought that I was a guy who kind of let everything go as well. A fuck up kind of, and I thought I related to him, and I just knew that Coach Wink and Coach Jackson were the best coaches around, so I was I know I have talent, so maybe let me try to come here and see what they can do with it. And it's just been just so good.
Just a nice seamless transition. It seems like, and your record reflects that, which is pretty impressive how quick you've picked it up. And as I figured out, you're a wrestler first. Yet I've noticed you possess some nasty dexterity, in your legs with some of those high kicks. So what's that like been developing your game plan into some of your future opponents? Obviously, they're going to get tougher. So has striking been more implemented lately, or did you already start off hitting the ground running with that?
As far as my opponents getting tougher, trust me, they're not getting tougher. I'm going to steamroll all these guys, bro. I'm just telling you the truth. One and two, right now I'm just focused on the cardio.
Okay.
Do you think when you walked in the door and like you said, John Jones was a huge inspiration for you, were you ever starstruck in the beginning, or how's it been seeing all those champions around you train and kind of gleaning a little bit from them and seeing their mindset when they're training?
I think initially when I first came through Jackson-Wink, my first time ever being there, John Jones was in the cage. And my first time ever being there, John Jones was in the cage. And yeah, I was a little starstruck. I didn't really know what to think. I was like, well, he's John Jones. He's not a regular celebrity. He's just a top fighter. He'll beat anybody up, And a little bit. But then the more I kind of came into my own, the starstruck, it went away. I think that was just a one-time thing. Then I seen him again another time, and it was just, that's John Jones. Cool.
Just another day in the office.
Yeah.
So with him being in the UFC, and I guess obviously you're in Bellator, has he given you, any advice on if you were offered UFC, like a contract with them, or because I know some guys will leave UFC to go to different promotions for, you know, a higher paycheck, while guys in the UFC sometimes get more recognition because they're on TV more. What's your mindset on that? And if you were to receive an offer from a promotion like that, would you accept it?
Right now, in my career at 5-0, Bellator has been taking care of me. No, like I make more money than I'm in Bellator at 5-0 with 5 fights, and I make more money than guys who I know are in the UFC. You know.
Okay.
Probably not.
And then I guess, well, that kind of led into the next question. What's it mean for you to be a fighter in an organization like Bellator? Because it's just as fast growing. Sometimes just the outlets for media, and it's not as accessible, or just people don't know about it as much to see it on TV. But what's it mean to you to be a fighter for an organization like that?
Bellator?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat your question one more time, please?
I guess, what does it mean for you to be a fighter in an organization like Bellator?
I think for where I'm at in my career, it's good. I think I mean, a lot of guys with like less than 5 fights, they're not making it. They're not in any big promotion, or they're just starting to get that big break in a big promotion like UFC or Bellator. I think I'm in a really good position, and honestly, like I'm very appreciative of it. Honestly, truthfully, to be in Bellator right now, in the position that I'm in, it's a humbling feeling, honestly.
And I was going to ask you, because what's really impressive and what's really struck me is you didn't have any amateur fights, correct?
No, sir.
So your first fight was in Bellator.
Yes, sir.
How did that happen? Did you just not want any amateur fights? Did Bellator contact you, or what gave you the idea to just go straight to the pros?
Well, I had an agent who he managed a lot of top guys. He used to manage Curtis Blades. He also managed Dominic Reyes, and those are like two big names he had under his roster. He knows how to get talent from point A to Z. You know what I mean? And I was making noise at Jackson-Wink when he first found out about me, and they just knew that, like, you know, they could probably take my talent to the next level, because a lot of guys couldn't and can't do what I can do at heavyweight, at least.
Absolutely. And it's one of those divisions where, you know, the roster sizes aren't as big as some of the more natural weight classes, as, you know, lightweight, welterweight, or what have you.
Yeah.
I guess I'm leading into, if you could have one dream fight at this point in your career, or that you see yourself, you know, in the next 5 years, who would it be, and where would you want it?
My dream fight. Whoops, my bad. My bad, dude.
You're good.
My dream fight. Let me think. Right now in my career, a fight that I would like to see happen right now would be me versus Fedor Emelianenko.
Oh yeah,
I think that. I mean, but that's like right now. You know, I think a dream fight would be me versus Francis Ngannou in a couple of years, or maybe like in 2 years. We'd like a alien versus predator type fight. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because you said your dream fight was Fedor, and I believe in your post-fight interview from the most recent fight, you called out Lynn Vassell, right, or Steve Mowry. You called out one of the guys, number 3 or number 5, correct? Like right around what Fedor's
Oh, I've called out Sher Congo. I've called out Lynn Vassell. I've called out Steve Mowry. Like, Steve Mowry's the only one who responded, though.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely feel like you deserve a top 5 opponent at this point.
Just hit my phone with the charger. Yeah, I would like to have a top 5 opponent, just because, like I said, I'm in this division to become a champion. I'm not in here to, I don't know, just fucking cherry pick and get a paycheck. Like, I'm here to change it. I'm really here to change the landscape of the sport, and that's my goal. honestly.
Yeah, because I really liked how in your post-fight interview and just the way you talk and act, you said you want to be a fighter's fighter and you want to fight every 3 months or so. And you said you don't like how they're, giving you one every 6 months or so, that you want to really be active. Is that just the hunger that's in you from being still so young and only 5-0 that you just want to fight as often and as high-ranked opponents as you can until you get the title?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, also like, I don't know. I don't know why no one's done it, bro. But like, I kind of want I feel like I have in my 5 fights, I've got so many damn highlights. No one's made me a damn highlight reel yet. But well, one guy did, but he's like an amateur at it. So I don't know. I like my highlights. I like the highlight reels. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I'm not in. I've always said it. I'm not in it. I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for fame. I'm in it for legacy, and I'm here for my highlights. So that's why I'm doing it. Honestly, I don't give a damn, bro. Like my life is good.
Well, thanks to you and finishing all your damn opponents so quickly. Your highlight tapes, they're hard to even find on YouTube. They only last a minute or two. So all the highlights are actually very quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right. But no, like, shoot. Even like in the 2-3 round fights I've had, like, there's some good highlights there, you know. But I don't know. I'm realizing you can't be impatient with this. You know what I mean? You gotta let everything come to you. You know, nothing worth having comes quick. You know, or easy. So that's kind of how I'm starting to look at it now.
I mean, so far in your career, you're making it look easy. Two things. One I want to touch back on, because in your last post-fight interview, whoever was fighting at the time, I guess, was doing something really impressive. And I remember, like, you stopped the interview and turned, and you're like, damn, I wish I was fucking doing that right now. And I thought that was just awesome. And then
Yeah.
second, has it struck you, like, do you think about, like, damn, I'm the number 8 heavyweight in the world right now in Bellator? Does that ever, especially at only 5-0, have you thought that's kind of odd? Because, a lot of fighters aren't 5-0 and let alone ranked, but to be in a top 10,
Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't, bro. It's only gonna matter when I'm champion. You know, that's just the truth.
Well, and you're doing it the right way, because you picked the gym where it's surrounded by champions, past champions, and so that I feel like that mindset really resonates with all the teammates you're around. I mean, am I right?
Yes, I mean, yeah. There's a lot of guys who have a champion who wants to be a champion, but there's also like a lot of guys who don't really, who's not doing anything, who don't really have any inspiration, who's not really aspiring to do anything either. They just want to be around guys who are doing something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
One thing you said you were working on your cardio currently, like that's the most important thing to you. Do you like cardio? And then, like, how have you been working on your cardio?
I like the results you get from doing cardio. Do I like the process? It's not fun, but the results is cool. And then what I'm doing for my cardio now is just running a lot, doing my sprints. This weekend I'm gonna go run the mountains and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's about it really. Like my last fight, you gotta think, my last fight, I was the underdog in my last fight. And everybody said that if I don't knock this guy out in the first round, I'm gonna lose. And everybody basically, because they were looking at my second fight, which I kind of gassed out a little bit. Nobody expected me to have my cardio to keep up with that guy, and that was like my biggest focus. My last fight camp was to make sure my cardio is like good,
Yeah, I mean, they can say all they want, but you still, even though you might have gassed in that fight, you still finished it and got the win. And then in your last fight, you still went all 3 rounds and got the win and looked really good in the later rounds too.
Yes, I know. And so well, one thing that I do, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I don't know. I don't know if this will get a lot of views or not. But one thing that I do is I go back, because like I feel like I'm not really a coach, but I corner some of my teammates, and everybody who I've cornered, they all win, because I think I have a pretty decent fight IQ, and I'm a student of the game, and I study the sport. I study like the movements, the traits, the habits, of like anybody who I'm gonna fight or anybody that I'm studying. I study like what do they like to do, how they react when they get hit, what do they do after they punch someone, just like break them all the way down completely. And so one thing I do with myself after each fight, because I go into a fight, you get to go into a fight thinking one way, like, oh, I'm gonna beat the crap out of this guy, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then when you get into the fight, it becomes about what you know and what you've practiced, you know, and instincts. So now, like with myself, I go back and watch my own fights, and I look back and I'm like, okay, how would I beat me? How would I beat Davion? You know, and that's why I know I'm getting better, because I don't care about what anybody else is doing. I care about what I'm doing. You know, so my last fight, I knew what I need to do different during the fight. So after I watched it a dozen times, I know what I need to do different going into my next fight. And my next fight is July 8th, if you guys want to ask.
Oh,
We were
without a
getting
doubt.
to that, but thank
we're
you for
gonna
just
get to
saying
it.
it right now. It's perfect. July
Yeah.
8th.
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent yet? Have they? Because
I'm gonna tell you guys. The news was just broken today, I guess. But yeah, he's an ex-UFC guy, Marcelo Gomes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna crush him. I'm gonna walk through him, and I'm gonna beat the crap out of Steve Mowry, and then, you know, hopefully
Whoever answers the call.
Huh?
Whoever answers the call.
Oh yeah, Steve Mowry says he wants to fight me. I think he thinks that, like, I think he's like kind of like looking. How can I put it? He's overlooking me a little bit. I think he thinks he's better than me. And so I like a fight like that, because I really think I'm gonna start him. I really think once I fight Steve Mowry, like, he doesn't make it out of the first round with me. I think I'm gonna knock him out on his feet. Truthfully.
Yeah, because you were the dog in your last fight. Does that play into you a little bit? Do you like that when you look at the odds and you see that you're a dog on that fight? Or would you prefer if you were the favorite? Or do you like playing into the dog?
That was the first time going into a fight where, like, I knew a lot of people thought I was gonna lose. Like, I think even people at Jackson-Wink thought I was gonna lose that fight. So I think that kind of played a little bit, like, it just made me want to play a little cautious, kind of, which it worked out. But normally I would just like to go for the finish immediately, which I was trying to do, but the guy kept running away from me. So, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Oof.
Would you like to see Ryan Bader still hold the belt once you get up there and fight, or do you give a shit who's gonna hold the belt?
Bro, I don't give a flying fuck. Excuse my language, but I don't really care, bro. If it's Ryan Bader, I think I'm gonna finish him. If it's but think about it. I'm 2 to 3 fights away from a title shot right now. Ryan Bader's fighting twice a year. He's gonna fight Lynn Vassell next. I mean, I'm like, bro, like, I beat Marcel. I beat the guy, my next opponent. I fight Steve Mowry by the end of this year. He's ranked number 5. I beat him. Shet Congo just fought for a title. Lynn Vassell, he's gonna fight for a title. He's probably gonna lose because Ryan Bader's already beat him. Tim Johnson's already fought for a title. I think he fought for an interim title. Like yeah, there's a chance I probably end up fighting Ryan Bader, like, around this time next year, or like a little bit before this time of next year. So, you know.
Well, that would play into the right timetable. Is, you know, you don't want to fight every 6 months, and who would when you're young and you're finishing guys relatively quickly, and you're coming out of fights not unscathed, but just able to jump right back in there and start training again. So,
I mean, I was pretty much unscathed in that Sai Summers fight. He didn't do anything to me.
Exactly, alliterating my point. You need to be. I'm agreeing that you. 6 months is too long of a timetable to be off. With how your fights have been going, staying active is the right process here.
That's the plan, bro. Like, but again, you never know. Like, I mean, eventually that's why I need to keep finishing these guys. Like, with Sai Soma, like, you know, the thing, like, I just love MMA, bro. So I could talk about this, but with Sai Soma in my last fight, the only thing I needed to do that I didn't do was bring my feet with me. Make sure my feet was under me before I threw a punch. And if that would have happened, he would not have made it out of the first round. And that's why I'm so confident if I ever fought him again, he doesn't make it out of the first round. But it's like you don't know these things. You don't know these things until you go through them in an actual fight. Nothing gives you experience like an actual fight. You can practice all you want. You know what I mean? But actual fight is way different than practice. I just got my ass beaten in practice by a guy who I would kill in an actual fight. You know what I mean? So that's just, I don't mean to sound too cocky, guys. I really don't, but
It's
No,
not,
you
but
don't at
that's
all.
that's given a great example how your own fight IQ is greater than most guys who are this early into the sport, is because you get into a fight like that. And that example you just brought up of bringing your feet with you for the punches, you clearly have already self-reflected and looked at the tape to see what you could have done different. And you don't
Yeah,
have
I caught myself overextending a lot,
Mhm.
Do you think that was just because you wanted that finish so bad that you were just going for it every time?
And that's the other thing I was gonna say to you guys. Like, you got like that's the other thing I learned from that fight. Like, when I took him down the first time, I could have just ground and pounded him. When I took him down in the third round, I could have ground and pounded him. But in the third round, when I got that lateral drop, I tried to like do this body slam. I some WWE type shit. Just try to get a fucking moment. I try to get a moment, and it didn't work out. So now I'm just like, nothing else matters. Like, I don't care about getting like a viral cool moment during the fight. I just care about finishing these guys. That's all I want to do is finish, because the finish is always there for me. But it's when you try to get that big moment, it slips through your fingers.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I just think it's nuts to hear you talk about this already and being so young, 5-0. And, I said it earlier, but my biggest thing was that you didn't do any amateur fights. You went straight into the pros and not some circuit league either. You went straight to Bellator and you're already ranked this high. I know in your post-fight interview, you said they asked about would you accept a rematch with him because it was split decision. But I will say I didn't see it as a split decision. I thought it should have been unanimous. I think a lot of people thought it was unanimous.
Yeah, a lot of people did too. A lot of people did, but they have their way of doing things, and I would totally fight Sai again. One, because it was split, and I know he didn't even think he won that fight. If you go back and watch the fight, before they called his name to say he won, he won a round in one of the judges' eyes. He was looking down. He knew he was defeated. But when they said, oh, and the second judge scored the fight for Saeed Soma, that's when he was like, oh, I have a chance. You know what I mean? And he was acting like he got screwed or something like that. But how could you? And no disrespect to him, because I respect him, but he didn't do anything. All he did was like those little leg kicks where he was just touching me, and it was, what I'm saying. And I feel like some of those stats are kind of like off anyway. You know what I mean? But I would just like to. With a decision, you leave doors open for questioning, and I want to be undisputed. Like, yeah. If I fight him again, it'll be a way different story, and I promise, like, I would finish him. I know I will.
Does that upset you, just how, because even as fans you just see these judges and they get it wrong a lot of times, so does that piss you off when you hear his name called on one of the judges and you're just thinking like, no fucking way, like it goes, and then even though you get the win, are you still thinking like, damn, that's still bullshit?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you gotta think, like, if another judge thought that way too, I had lost the fight, and there goes my undefeated record. And I love winning, and I love being undefeated. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. It just lets you know you cannot let a fight go to the decision, and you cannot play it safe. Man, there's nothing safe about MMA anyway. You know what I mean? So why play it safe?
And that, yeah, like you said earlier, how that's why your main objective is to just go finish everybody, and that takes the judges out of the fight completely, and
exactly
it makes perfect sense, because look what happened last weekend, and it's kind of a transition, I suppose, with Rose Namajunas and Carlos Esparza, even something like that. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that fight.
Rose should have won, but not by a landslide. You know what I mean? It's not by a landslide. She should have won a split decision for sure. But I don't know. I feel like part of me feel like I may be wrong, but this is how I feel. I feel that like a lot of times these judges, these people who are judging the fight, they see a fighter and then maybe something they don't like about a fighter. You know what I mean? So they use that as a reason to like not get them around, like a little bias, a little bit. Thug Rose came out saying, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. You know what I mean? And then she put on a fucking lackluster performance. Like, come on, you're pretty much asking for them to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she
definitely
still won that fight because
I agree. It's just when it's lackluster like that, it kind of plays into the fact, if it's that boring for 5 rounds, it doesn't look like you're trying to finish or take any risk.
And then she's trying to take down at the last 10 seconds.
Yeah. And what the fuck is that going to do? You're better than that.
Come on, girl.
Like seeing that fight, I know a lot of judges are hesitant and it's rare, but do you believe in ties? Do you think if it's something like that, would you accept a tie, or do you think it always should be one way or the other?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes and no, but mostly yes, because I feel like if it's such a close fight, don't let a fight just, you know what I mean? Because a loss sets fighters back. It sets fighters back 3 to 6 months, half a year, sometimes a whole year. You know what I mean? Like a loss kind of sets a fighter back in their career. So like nobody wants to lose, but unfortunately somebody has to lose. But with the tie, you know what I mean? Like, true. Honestly, I take that back. Honestly, there should be ties, but you don't want to have too many ties. But there should be ties because it's just like, I don't know, bro. Who wants a loss in their record that they felt should have been a win?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the shittiest feeling.
And having a draw should be, because some splits are, I agree. Some splits should be draws, and having a draw like that on your record should call for an immediate rematch, which should happen.
Exactly.
9 times out of 10. But if one guy loses, one guy wins, like you said, the guy that lost could be set back.
Or you know what'd be cool? If they had like a sudden death round. You know what I mean? Not like you know what I'm saying? Like not where they actually fight to death, but like, okay, well, the fight's over, but there's no clear winner. Do one more round, and the winner of that round wins the fight.
That's like they do in The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
And I guess still speaking on this, because they did it to Rose's corner, like they were telling her like she won those rounds. If you're in a fight and say, would you prefer your corner talking like saying you potentially won that round if it's close, or do you want to hear like we need that finish, like you're not up on scorecards? Like how would you?
It depends on the fighter, because I don't know. Even if the coach, like my coach before my last fight, Coach Jackson, Greg Jackson told me, "Oh, you win that round." That doesn't mean go in there and coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think some fighters they hear that and then they start coasting and they start losing. Like when Aljamain Sterling fought Peter Young, like he knew he was up, but I think he thought he was winning more than what he actually was, and he coasted those last 2 rounds. You know, so yeah.
I guess back to that, that card last weekend. What'd you think of Chandler and Ferguson? Did you feel Ferguson had found his footing and it felt like the old Tony at first?
It broke my heart, man, because I like Ferguson, man. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. That's all I got to say about that. Like, it was sad because it's Tony Ferguson, bro. He's the real fighter's fighter, bro. He's the people's. Everybody who does not like Tony Ferguson. Nobody. You know what I mean? He's probably one of the most exciting fighters ever. You know what I mean? So that was sad. But I mean, I like Michael Chandler too, man. He has 2 black kids, for Christ's sake. Come on. I'm a black dude, so kudos to him.
What, in your opinion, what happens with him next? What happens to the landscape of that top 5, in the lightweight? With the belt being vacant.
I mean, it seems like everybody wants to fight Michael Chandler or the Bronx. I don't know. That's obviously 155 is the best division across all promotions. It's the most stacked division, I should say, not best, but it's the most stacked division across all promotions. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people think Conor McGregor should come back and fight Charles Oliveira, but I think Charles Oliveira smashed McGregor. I like McGregor, bro. I like McGregor, dog, but
I think the whiskey's in his system. I think the whiskey's in his system currently.
Just focus on being rich, bro. You know what I mean?
I think he's just too prideful to go out that way without another.
Yeah, bro. Of course, because that's what got him there. You know, there's always going to be that what if with him because like he is the guy who was a double champion one time. You know what I mean?
He was just fighting for a different reason back then. You know, before
he was fighting. He was back. I feel like back then he was fighting to be where he's at now. You know, and he's already achieved that. So it's like, why go take brain damage, man? I would just, if I were him, I'd just enjoy the fruits of my labor and, you know what I'm saying, right off into the sunset. You know what I mean? Go do something else, which he is. But I feel like people, he has so many fans that's always gonna want to see him fight. And like, bro, he can go fight he can go fight 10 more fights to get knocked out all 10 times, and people are still gonna love him. You know?
So I guess
I know Dana would let him for damn sure.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. So I guess I wanted to ask you this in regards like the MMA landscape as a whole. So I feel like heavyweight division has way more eyes on it than it's had in a while, specifically because Francis Ngannou and then Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, you know, Ryan Bader too over in Bellator with you. Do you feel like the heavyweight division now they're finally getting the respect they deserve? Is because, you know, it used to be what you wanted to see, like Mike Tyson type knockouts, Evander Holyfield, and now the big division guys finally getting very good at their craft.
Yeah, the heavyweight division, it's an exciting time to be a heavyweight. You know what I mean? Because there's so many good heavyweights out right now. But I mean, I fight for Bellator, man. I love Bellator for everything that they've done for me. But it's like the heavyweight division in Bellator is an open slot for someone like me, for someone who is young, talented, and hungry. And like these guys, they're not young. Some of them are, but they're not talented, and they're damn sure not hungry. You know what I mean? These guys, like most guys in the top 10, they're there for a paycheck, bro. You know what I mean? That's one thing I realized about. I mean, I look at all these guys like I'm a fucking creep, bro. I'll be creeping through their social media, you know, like they're watching their interviews and stuff like that, like seeing like what motivates them, what drives them. Most of these guys are here to fucking get paid, bro. They're not here to make highlights. They're not here to be the best in the world, bro. Like in the UFC, some of them are. You know what I mean? Like top 5 in UFC, they're all like dogs, hungry. In Bellator, like I'm the only dog in that division, bro. And I'm gonna show it, bro. Because Steve Mowry, think about it. I called him out. He responds to me immediately because he knows I got a small record and he thinks he has a chance against me, bro. But bro, you're scared to fight Tyrell Fortune, bro. I would beat the crap out of Tyrell Fortune, bro. You're scared to fight Tyrell Fortune, but you want to fight me, bro? Like, come on, dog. Come on, bro. Let me stop talking, bro.
I mean, does it motivate you though? Like you said, that do you think since you have such a small record that all these guys don't just overlook you because it's like, oh, he's 5 fights, like he's not on my level yet. Whereas what you just said, like
they try to, but after my last fight, they can't do that because the guy just fought Ty Soma. He beat the former world champion for Bellator, so they try to. I just think Steve Mowry, bro. Like I called him out, bro. Like every time you're, why are you ranked number 5? Yes, I get you're 10-0, bro. Well, you literally fought all cans, bro. Everybody you fought is a damn can. And the only guy that you fought who wasn't a can, which is Sai Soma, you fought him in his first fight ever. You know what I'm saying? When he beat Sai Soma, that was Sai Soma's first fight ever. You know what I mean? If he fought Sai Soma now, I'm pretty sure that it'd be a different result. I'm not saying Sai Soma would beat him, but I think it'd be a different fight. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking like this, bro. Like, you've never fought anybody legit. You never had the courage to fight anybody legit. You know what I mean? That's why I know I beat him. And the only reason he responded to me is because I said that. If I said, hey, let me fight Steve Mowry next, he wouldn't have responded. But when I said, let me beat his ass, and I brought up how he's always pushing it, how he's always, you know, getting injured every time he has to fight someone ranked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he responded. You know, I know how to press these guys' buttons, bro. And eventually, like I said, bro, like I'm gonna clean out this whole division, bro. Then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. After I clear out this whole division, you heard it here first.
So you
Mark
want
my
to be,
words. I
you want
promise
to
on
be
my soul.
undisputed, undefeated, heavyweight Bellator champ for a while.
Yes, I'm gonna run through these guys, bro. Like my uncle said, run through these guys, run through these motherfuckers like S-slats. No, for real though. I really plan on steamrolling these guys. For real. And if I don't, it can't be done. If I can't, it can't be done. But it's gonna happen. I'm really gonna steamroll these guys. Everybody in the top 10. Think about it. Tyrell Fortune, steamroll him. You know what that is? Do you know what that is? Steamroll him. Tyrell Fortune, steamroll him, bro. Tim Johnson, steamroll him, bro. Steve Mowry, steamroll him, bro. Lynn Vassell. All these guys I just named. Weak chins, fat, old, slow. Come on, bro. Just a matter of time,
The
bro.
new blood's here.
Just
And then
matter of
Bader
time,
at the
bro.
top.
Matter of time, just a matter of time, bro. And they're like, why are you so confident? Because like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Have you seen these guys? You know what I'm saying? This isn't Francis Ngannou. This isn't Curtis Blaze. This isn't Sirigan. This isn't Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Come on, man. I should be out there with those guys, bro. But right now I'm in Bellator and I'm about to have my way. And I'm so confident that I am. And that's why I'm talking like this.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely hear it in your voice. It's all just straight honest. I mean, there's no faking that. I think it's a perfect way to wrap it up. I really want to thank you, Davion, for coming on this and just, you know, shooting the shit and just telling us how you're going to be the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champ. So I'll let you get the last, whatever you want to say, your social media profile, everything you need to, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Follow me on Instagram at all day Davion Franklin. If you want to see some knockouts, man, I'm the guy to go. If you want to see some heavyweights get beat up, you know what I'm saying? I'm the guy to look to. Also, man, I want to give a shout out to the homegirl, Janae. She's the one who hooked you guys up with me. You know what I'm saying? She's the reason I did this. And, you know what I'm saying? Kudos to her. And, yeah, you know, I hope you guys have a good week. And that's it, man.